Today we're digging into something you probably have in your kitchen right this very second, the humble potato. We're going to explore how this everyday vegetable goes from just a simple pantry staple to the key ingredient in a scientifically formulated skincare cream. This is going to be fun.
It's a great question, right? We hear all the time about natural remedies, but today, we're actually going to bridge that gap between old school wisdom and the modern chemistry lab. We're going to follow the journey of the potato and its pretty powerful partner, licorice root, to see exactly how they're transformed into a skin whitening cream. So first things first, let's uncover a potato's secret powers. You might be kind of wondering, why on earth are we talking about potatoes for skincare? Well, as it turns out, this simple spud is packed with some really incredible skin-loving compounds.
Potatoes are just unbelievably versatile. They've got this enzyme called catecholase, which is a natural skin lightener. They can help soothe under-eye puffiness because they're full of water, and they're also loaded with vitamin C and zinc. Both are absolutely essential for making collagen and fighting off the signs of aging. On top of all that, they've got anti-inflammatory properties that can calm down irritated skin or acne. It's really a multitasking wonder.
Okay, so as amazing as the potato is, in the scientific formula we're looking at, it has an equally powerful partner. So let's bring on our second key ingredient, one that has a really long history in herbal medicine, licorice root.
Now here's the science part, but it's pretty cool. The scientific name is Glycyrrhiza glabra, but its secret weapon is a compound called glycyrrhizic acid. What this stuff does is it targets dark spots by blocking an enzyme called tyrosinase. You can think of tyrosinase as the on switch for melanin production in your skin, so by blocking it, you stop those dark spots from forming in the first place. It's a really direct and effective way to get that skin whitening effect.
All right, we've got our two star ingredients. Now, let's head into the lab and see how scientists actually turn these raw materials into a stable, effective product. This, right here, is where the real magic happens.
So this is the first and maybe the most important hurdle. If you've ever grated a potato, you know it turns brown and oxidizes almost immediately. You can't just bottle fresh potato juice and stick it on a shelf. So how did the scientists solve this problem? And this visual just shows you everything. The researchers made 6 different samples using various preservatives. On the left, that's day 1. All the samples look perfectly fine. But then look at the right. After 60 days, most of them have oxidized and totally gone bad. But you see that one clear sample? That's our winner.
So what was in that winning formula? Well, it was a very specific blend of potato juice, lemon juice, and a couple of common preservatives. And this step is absolutely essential. Without a stable base, you just don't have a product you can manufacture, ship, and sell. It's a total deal breaker. Okay, so the potato juice is stable. Now we've got to deal with the licorice root. To get that powerful glycyrrhizic acid out of the plant, scientists use a process called maceration. Now, I know this flowchart looks a little technical, but the idea behind it is actually surprisingly simple. Let's just break it down. First, you soak the powdered root in ethanol, and that pulls out all the good stuff. You let that sit for 3 days. Then, you gently heat it to evaporate the alcohol. And what you're left with is this thick, concentrated extract. That final gunk, that's the pure, potent licorice extract that goes into the cream. So now that all the ingredients are prepped and ready, it's time to find the perfect recipe. See, scientists don't just guess. They create a bunch of different versions or formulations, and they test them like crazy to find the one that works the absolute best. This table kind of gives you a snapshot of what that looks like. They made 6 batches, F1 through F6. They kept some things the same, like the 1% licorice extract, but they played around with the amounts of other key things like olive oil and our stabilized potato juice. The goal here was to find that perfect sweet spot for texture and effectiveness.
And here is the proof in the pudding. A cream is only good if it can actually get its active ingredients into your skin, right? That process is called drug diffusion. And just looking at this chart, there was a clear, undeniable winner. That formulation F4, with a diffusion rate over 92%, was way better at delivering the goods compared to the others.
And to top it all off, F4 also had the highest drug content, coming in at almost 99%. So this means it wasn't just better at getting into the skin, it was also packed with the highest concentration of the active stuff. All the tests were pointing to one thing. F4 was the optimized winning formula.
Okay, so that was the super high-tech lab version. But what if you want to tap into the power of these ingredients right at home? Let's bring it all the way back to the kitchen and look at a simple do-it-yourself approach.
This quote from a popular skincare blog really nails the whole spirit of the DIY approach.
You don't need a lab coat or a beaker to get some of these benefits. All you need are a few simple ingredients.
See how the core ingredients are familiar? You've got potato juice and lemon juice, just like in the lab's stable formula. But here, you combine them with honey for its awesome hydrating and soothing properties. It's a simple 4-step process. You mix, apply, relax, and then rinse. It's just a super easy way for anyone to try this at home.
So we've seen two very different approaches: the precise, controlled world of the science lab and the simple, accessible world of your own kitchen. So what's the big takeaway here?
Let's just put them side by side. The lab cream is engineered for maximum potency, and it has a shelf life of over 3 months. It's been rigorously tested for effectiveness and for safety. The kitchen mask, on the other hand, is all about being fresh and simple. It's super affordable, but its potency isn't standardized, and you have to make a new batch every single time. So it's not really about one being better, they just serve totally different purposes.
And that really brings us to our final thought. This whole journey from a simple potato to a complex cream, it shows us that there's real science behind these natural ingredients. But it also highlights a choice that we all make. When it comes to your skin, do you prefer the proven consistency of a lab-formulated product, or do you like the fresh, hands-on approach of a DIY remedy? There's really no right answer, but it's definitely something to think about.